it wouldn't look so good to know someone I'm not supposed to know. Just walk on by, wait on the corner. I love you, but we're strangers when we meet. Just walk on by, wait on the corner. I love you, but we're strangers when we meet. In a dimly lit corner at a place outside of town, tonight we'll try to say goodbye again. But I know it's not over. I'll call tomorrow night. I can't let you go, so why pretend?
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
We are Lions. We bring hope where it's needed, support causes that matter, change lives, change communities, change the world. Visit lionsclubs.org to learn more.
Introducing the YMCA. Sure, you know the Y for a swim or a game of hoops, but we're more than that. We're a cause. When you take a jump shot at the Y, someone else is getting job training. Practice yoga as a team practices her leadership skills. We give people of all ages, incomes, and backgrounds a chance to learn, grow, and thrive. So while you might think of the Y as the place for lifting weights, we're also about lifting entire communities. That's the Y. We're so much more. Visit ymca.net/more.
Hi, this is Winnie from the Rosendale Seniors, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
This portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by Ulster Savings Bank. Visit their newest branch, conveniently located at the Ulster Commons Plaza in Lake Katrine. Experience the difference that local community banking offers with the convenience of another great location, easy access, plenty of parking, and a 24-hour ATM. Ulster Savings Bank, invested in community, invested in you. Member FDIC.
All right, this is Thunder Thursday. This is TNT. Tony Marmo.
Tony Rozier.
Yeah, it's
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. There was a lot of thunder yesterday in Washington, right?
Quite a bit of thunder.
Cannoli, man. I really didn't watch a whole lot of it because it just was sad, right? It was sad. It was super sad, and just crazy, almost like a reality TV show. It's almost like a movie.
Have you ever seen anything like it? I've never.
No. So I don't know. Hopefully the country heals and we figure this out. And it's just not good. It was I don't know. They were like lounging and. It was not funny, but
no, it's not funny.
Not
it's
funny,
just,
but I mean, they just like
it is like a TV show.
Yeah,
Who would have thought that would happen?
Right. I mean, I don't know. And then that was on top of the Philadelphia Eagles, Lawrence, throwing that game. Oh my God, that was horrible.
I wanted the Giants to go to the playoffs, but we would have went from the 11th pick to like the 19th or the 20th pick.
Yeah.
This way, we're going to get a good decent wide receiver. No one, the 10 picks in front of us, they don't need a wide receiver.
No,
we need
true.
one.
Yeah.
I would have said in the beginning of the year that we needed a defensive end, but Leonard Williams
is doing
is
good.
Awesome.
He
deserves to get paid. But yeah, that was sad watching that on Sunday night.
It was. I mean, come on. I mean, for professional sports, I mean, did you?
I have to say, I didn't watch.
Okay.
I don't really follow the Eagles, but I do follow the Steelers.
It was a
Nationals,
right? Yeah.
No, but as a football fan, basically what happened, it was a close game, Washington and Eagles, and the Doug Peterson, the Philadelphia coach, put this third-string quarterback in.
That's never played ever.
Right. It's like, I mean,
the teammates are on the on the sideline, like, I mean, people were outraged.
I have friends that are Eagles fans, and they are embarrassed. They were just embarrassed for professional football that basically the guy, it's like a big game. Forget Giants, whether it was the Cowboys or the Giants, didn't matter. So the game was close. The guy that the Eagles have, Jalen Hurts, is a good guy, is a good quarterback, and the Eagles probably could have won that game, but he threw in this quarterback that never. I mean,
they were only down 3, right?
Yeah, and he didn't take the field. He didn't kick a field goal. They were. It was the ball was on the 6, and the guy or 4, or something like that. The guy tried to get a touchdown. Anyway, it was a debacle. It really was. And then yesterday was a debacle.
Let's hope today.
I was thinking that how much of this had to do with. I know. There's issues with Trump, obviously, but the COVID. I think COVID has played such a major part in people's lives being so disrupted,
Right.
And all you need is a little match into the haystack, and boom, it goes. I mean, it's.
Yeah, I think that people
I
are
know.
just.
Yeah.
They want things back to normal.
Yeah,
They're
but they
not
can't.
going back to
Right,
normal,
right,
and
right.
it's hard for a lot of people.
I mean, it's. And unfortunately, there's like deep-seated divisions now in the country. I mean, that's just what's happening. I mean, there's no civil discourse. There's no like, let's have just a, you work at Keegan Nails, and
Right.
you also obviously are your day job is a big job as UCAT assistant director,
Deputy director.
Deputy director. I don't know how
They have all different titles.
I know. But I'm sure if people come and, look, they just want to, maybe they had a hard day, they just want to have a glass of beer, just sit down, relax, BS a little bit. No.
I
that.
can tell you that I bring none of that up.
I don't blame you.
You
can't.
and I think all of us that work at Keegan Nails feel the same way. None of us share our political
No, you
views
can't.
with anybody, and also as a employee of the county,
Right, you need to
have
be-
some things that you think or you
Right.
want to say, but honestly, I just keep them to myself.
You have to,
But
yeah.
at Keegan's, you're right. People just want to come in, and they do.
Right.
And you can just
Right.
smile, and now is the best thing with the masks.
Yeah. Yeah.
If your eyes can tell a story, well then, but
I mean, my sister is a beautician. She's been a beautician for 50 years, and I look at folks that tend bar and like hairdressers. People just want to talk. They and like.
Oh, you can't even imagine. And she probably knows the same thing.
Oh yeah,
It's just
exactly.
like
yeah. So people just come and they want to tell you
say anything.
what's on their mind
and
and what's bothering.
Most of them are
decent people,
are
right?
innocent. And right now, though, at Keegan Nails, we don't have any seats at the bar, so that eliminates some of that.
Right, that ability to
have somebody come in and
Have a
express
dialogue.
their feelings, and I think that a lot of people miss that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or
Yeah.
people that are confined at home now because they're either quarantined,
Yeah.
have been in contact with someone, and it's getting hard. And we were reminiscing about New Year's Eve past.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
Christmas Eve past with Tommy right before the holidays, how the place used to be packed and people couldn't wait to get there. And now, people,
Now it's
most
just
people
empty.
are abiding by the rules and staying home.
Well, it wasn't too long ago. I mean, I remember we went to the Chateau. Leanne and I went to the Chateau for New Year's Eve last year with Ken Brett and Anna Brett. Had a great time.
Yeah.
I mean, it was dancing, it was music, the place was packed. This was New Year's Eve,
Right.
2019.
How about all the New Year's Eves uptown?
Yeah, yeah.
Standing out in the cold,
I don't
shoulder
know.
to shoulder, like sardines.
So I guess, we just got to slug through these next, hopefully 3 months, and hopefully when the warm weather comes again, because last summer it seemed like, the virus just stopped a little bit, or it wasn't as virulent, wasn't as bad as it was. So I don't know. It's just.
And now they're saying there's another new strain of the virus, and
But I thought I was reading where the vaccine would accommodate whatever strain it is. seems like. I don't know. But so the vaccine administration, so the county's starting to roll that out.
They are going to start to roll out the vaccine administration. Actually, Ulster County Area Transit is going to assist with that.
Oh, great. Talk about that.
With
That's
that
good.
procedure.
Yeah. When is that starting, you know?
I think they're starting on Monday, but you have to be in the zone, whatever
Okay.
zone you're in. And I'm sure that you will be notified
Right.
when you can get the vaccine, but they will administer
Zone means
it.
like where your geography is, or how does it, what's the zone?
The
Or
zone or
Or
the
age categories of?
so
no.
it's essential workers.
Oh, okay.
So they're going to go by that. Like,
Okay.
so if you're an essential worker,
Gotcha.
and then
The
they
CDC guidelines for. yeah.
right, they break that down into what category you fall in,
Okay.
and then emergency, first responders.
Gotcha.
So you will be able to make an appointment
Okay.
and go to the Kate Walton Fieldhouse, which I don't know if anybody listens to Pat Ryan's updates
yeah.
on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but he did, show the inside of the Kate Walton Fieldhouse, which is now set up as little cubicles where you can
Yeah.
go and get your vaccine.
Well, I know the county was considering making that a field hospital.
They did make it a field hospital during COVID,
Yeah,
and they
yeah,
set
yeah.
it up, but once spring came and there wasn't a necessity for it.
numbers dropped, yeah.
The numbers dropped. And I think that they did that because New York City wasn't sure if they were going to have enough space to accommodate their COVID patients, but I think the county as a whole did a great job of closing things down, helping people get food, and really I feel like we're in a really good spot now, even though that the numbers are
Climbing,
increasing.
yeah. Well, I agree with that. I think, it's amazing to me that this virus is just not going away. I mean, it's not going away.
I know.
And I get it. There's smaller gatherings and family gatherings, but I mean, people are clannish people. They just, we're not meant to live in caves by ourselves. That's not how it started.
No.
So, I mean, I know.
I mean, sometimes it's nice.
Yeah, sometimes
but
it
then
is
you
nice.
get sick of it
Right,
after
right,
a couple of
yeah.
days.
But generally, families, I don't know. So we'll see. Hopefully, the next couple of months, and the vaccine starts rolling out, and people. I know there's a ton of people that won't take the vaccine, and I'm not sure a ton, but there's people that are saying no.
I've heard quite a few people say they won't
Have you?
take the
Yeah.
vaccine.
What do you think, percentage-wise? Like a third-ish, half?
I think probably a third to a
20
half.
to a half won't take
maybe.
it?
I think it depends where you live.
Right.
And now I do think it depends on what political party you're
Yeah, it could be.
associated with.
Yeah,
I
it
think
could
some
be.
of them have different views on
Yeah.
this vaccine and how
Well, I think the more
the government rolled it out so fast, but
Well, I think that was a function of need, right? I mean,
I agree, yeah.
because, the quicker you get to at least some of the population, half the population, 2/3 of the population get the vaccine, the rest have, built up immunities. I mean, I think the at-risk population really should get, which is what they're doing, give that first.
Right, that
Because
is what's going to happen.
And statistically, the people that have good immune systems, don't have other comorbidities. If they get it, they typically fight it off quickly, just kind of like a regular flu,
Right.
I mean, your immune system, it fights. But people that either are severely overweight or
Or have a compromised immune system.
right, you get
I know
cancer
that
survivors.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So, I guess, unfortunately, there's.
We've come this far.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
we can just wait it out a little more.
Yep.
I don't think it's going to be that much longer.
No, I
At least I hope not. But
I agree.
I think that we've all come this far, and
Yeah.
let's just
So,
let's just hope for spring soon.
We just hope the presidential reality show kind of comes to a.
That is going to happen, you know.
I know, it's got to happen. It's got to happen. But, it's unprecedented, really. I mean, everything, this whole year, I keep telling people, I say, well, I'm not even saying happy 21. I'm basically saying happy 22. I'm
Right.
hoping that 21 just goes away because it's going to be more of the same. And then, let's get to 22 where maybe we can have some normalcy in our worlds again,
I read something, I read Facebook every day, but I see a lot of posts that people reflecting back on 2020.
Yeah.
Right? And there are a lot of posts that say 2020 gave me the chance to spend more time with my family, work less, see them more. And I do agree with that.
Yeah.
I do agree with that. Like, I had the chance, my son lives in Connecticut. I wouldn't have seen him as much as I did this year when he started working from home, right?
There's definitely, silver linings out of 20 for sure. I think the other part of it kind of sort of outweighs, but optimistic people are going to look at that and say, here's what I was able to do that I never did before. Mm-hmm. Maybe I read more books. Maybe I got outside more. Maybe, whatever. I Zoomed my relatives, which I wouldn't have Zoomed, We didn't know what a Zoom was other than going on the thruway 90 miles an hour.
I know, right? Yeah. And other people have learned that, not only just our age.
Yeah.
The kids already probably knew how to do that, but even, my older relatives have been doing it too.
Yeah, no, it's... I'm at a point, though, of having Zoom fatigue because I do probably so some days I do 3 or 4 of them.
I'm not that bad, no.
So, because between work, because my staff is still at home. One person comes in to the office, sometimes 2 in different rooms. And Rotary, which, we are pretty much only meeting through Zoom. But there again, we get a chance to talk to somebody from Germany, from Turkey, from different parts of the world that we never would have gotten to do.
Right, right.
But so last night I could not. I felt badly. I could not find the Zoom link for the Ulster County Italian American Christmas in Calabria at 6:00. And I got home, and I already had, one before that, and I'm looking, and I texted Les Lombardi, where's the link? And he's the president. There's a registration link. Hey, I got to go look for the registration link now. So I just said, you know what, I'm eating dinner. And then, because then I had a 7:00 one.
Okay.
Another
so
7:00
you're like
Zoom.
back
So
to
it was
back.
back-to-backs. So I have Zoom fatigue. And today I have 2 or 3 more. So
I think I have Netflix fatigue.
Yeah. It's.
I think I've watched everything on Netflix that I can possibly watch.
But it's good occasionally when you find a good movie on Netflix.
Right. Or even those, like you can binge watch that are, they have
series.
Episode after episode after episode.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Which is kind of bad because then I try to binge watch them in a day.
Yeah, right.
But I did hit the rail trail a few times, in this weather. A lot of people out this weekend. A lot of people and families.
Right.
Kids on bicycles, which you don't normally see in January.
Right.
Yeah.
It was almost 50, I think, and it was a decent day. Yeah. Yeah, the rail trails are packed. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to get out there. But that's good. That's good.
I have seen posts too that people are going hiking, but people that aren't used to hiking aren't out there with the right gear.
Yeah, right.
So I saw a lot of
2-inch
posts.
heels.
Yeah, and they're not spikes.
Right, exactly.
They're out there, and a few said they had to call the forest rangers to.
Oh, yeah, to go rescue them. That's maybe New York City people. But, we go out. Well, this last weekend, we did like a reorganize the basement stuff, get some shelves. I mean, that's another benefit,
I literally have cleaned my whole house. I don't know what else to do.
Right, exactly. So places like Lowe's and Home Depot and Herzog's, they're a sponsor of Kingston Community Radio. We'll go there first because we prefer the smaller to the big box stores, but they're all pretty crowded all the time.
All the time.
Right?
All the time. I am a big fan of ordering online and driving up to the front door. And I don't know if you've done that for Target yet.
No.
They actually track when you pull in the parking
You're
space.
kidding.
I pulled in the one night before Christmas, and they were open till 11, so I was just ordering my Christmas gifts, ordered them at around 8 o'clock at night, get there at like 9. The girl was right at the spot as soon as I pull in. It was great.
Yeah.
I went there in my pajamas and slippers and got my Christmas presents.
We picked up a couple of shelving units for the basement storage at Sam's, but the lady there was saying they're doing 80 to 100 orders a day.
Wow.
Online orders. So
Wow.
it's
It's a different world.
It's just a different world, and the question is, how much of it will come back and how much of it will stay, once we get to the point of a kind of sort of normalcy. Will it ever get back to normal? I don't know.
I think that once
No
everything's
masks and-
lifted, everybody is going to try to party like it's 1999, like that song that
Absolutely.
came out. But
Yeah.
I do think that it will be scaled back. I think people have learned to do their own backyard oases
Right,
and
right. Cook
basement.
more.
Yeah, you have your house all nice and neat now.
Right.
You want people to come over.
Yeah, renos, house renovations are big because, people are working home and
Right.
they got, I try to order, buy a laptop online sold out, because people are working home, bought a bunch of laptops, right? They have to, so, yeah, it's a whole weird new world. It really is. And then you put the political scene on top of that, and just, and I try to stay off of the social media and Facebook. I'll look for my relatives and see if one of the kids had a birthday or something.
Right.
But I refuse to get involved in political discourse on
I do too.
Facebook.
I do
It just
too.
doesn't. I don't.
And that's exactly what I do. I look for the stories that my nieces and nephews post of their kids.
Right,
and
the good news stories, the
Right.
happy stories about, what's going on. So
it is fun to see those.
yeah, I put stuff on like, I got a new log splitter. And
Yeah,
here's
right. I usually post my grandson or
Yeah, it's.
when we had all that snow. My son did not go skiing, but he
Right.
skied off of my deck down the backyard and made this ramp.
Oh,
So
cool.
the kids were having a great time in the backyard.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
the little boy next door saw us and he was like, "Can I come over?"
Yeah. Well, that's what it's all
So
about.
some things like that I've never done,
Yeah. And there was, I'm sure you saw the incident that was the Ulster County Sheriff pulled over that person in the Buffalo Wild Wings parking lot. Like OMG, and it was painful to watch, really.
Yeah.
But I think now that could have happened not during COVID, but I just think everybody's getting crazier.
I agree too. Everybody's on edge.
The whole
And I don't think it's just because of COVID. I think it's because of our whole political
Societal,
system here,
Yeah. Well, there's a lack of tolerance. There's a lack of willingness to discourse and talk about things and bring people together. And it should be a big tent. We're all in this together. It doesn't matter race, color, creed, sexual orientation. It shouldn't matter.
Right.
It really shouldn't matter. I know it does, but
I'm not giving any
political statement.
any political views on who I think is
Right.
a good president, not a
Yeah,
good
yeah.
president, whatever. But in my lifetime, I have never ever saw anyone disrespect
Yeah.
the president of the United States
Yeah.
the way this country did this year. And I'm not saying that I'm
Yeah.
for or against. I just think that as growing up, when we all grew up, and you can probably attest to this
Yeah, oh,
too,
yeah, absolutely.
you have to respect everybody above
Right,
you. You
right.
can have your own opinions, but
Right.
even things like this, that's just
Yeah. Well, look, there were people
right.
that didn't like Lyndon Johnson, Nixon. And there were protests, a lot of
Right.
protests during the 60s, as one of the decades that I grew up in. Tons of civil unrest in the 60s, for a variety of reasons. The civil rights movement took off, and so that was a turbulent decade. And the 70s was, with Nixon and with the impeachment and
Right,
Watergate and all that
Watergate.
stuff, and and Carter, and it was.
There's right. But I've never seen it.
No, I know that. No, I know that. It's turned into like the presidential reality show. I mean, and whatever.
And it's turned into people hating each other
Yeah.
for whatever view that they've
it's.
had.
I mean, you see this in other countries. You don't necessarily expect it from our country. And I have some Canadian friends from Rotary that, shouted out a little bit and said, "Hey, we're really sorry for everything that's going on in the country." Blah blah blah. These are one lives in British Columbia, one's in Calgary, one's up in Toronto, and so I mean, you could expect this in, I don't know, some other country.
Somewhere else. Somewhere else. Maybe it's a good thing we all are quarantined to our homes.
Right. It's and talk about, what's the and I was thinking about Netflix. You were talking about Netflix movies. There's a ton of movies where, the bad folks invade Washington and Morgan Freeman's got to get into a plane and escape somewhere.
And what was the other one?
Yeah, I don't know.
They came, and I don't even remember the name.
There's
they
a
came and destroyed the last survivor final dedicated survivor.
Like
yeah, they just.
There's a whole genre of films that just go in and they're going to attack the White House.
Right.
And the president's got to escape. I was like, okay.
You wonder where people get their ideas.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. It's we laugh, but if you don't laugh, you're going to cry. And
exactly. I tend to watch those Hallmark chick flick movies.
I'm usually an action thriller kind of guy. Maybe that's just a male thing. I don't know. It's like
I did
who done it. I like that.
I did watch Mel Gibson.
Die Hard. No, the Die Hard.
He was the Santa.
Oh, that's Bruce Willis. Oh, Santa. Oh, yeah.
I forget the
those
name.
Are pretty funny.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah. So I don't know. You got to do something to stay engaged and stay sane, and it's because it's crazy. It's a crazy planet right now.
It is crazy. And on that note, there are so many out of towners coming into Kingston. Yeah. I think that some of the businesses uptown, I don't know if they're thriving, but I do think they get a lot of foot traffic. Yeah, I saw this weekend that I noticed that. I know Hamilton and Adams has opened up a new women's store, and
it looks like Brooklyn there.
I know and I do see people going in and out, and I know they're open on Sundays. I don't know what other stores are open on Sundays, but I can say for the time that I've lived in Kingston, I can't remember stores being open on Sunday uptown.
No, that's good.
Except for the restaurants.
And the restaurants are struggling.
They are struggling.
My son lived on in Carroll Gardens in Brooklyn off of Court Street, and Wall Street, John Street looked just like those.
Really?
Pretty much now, minus the bars and places where you could just go in and have a brew if you wanted to.
Right.
So all right. So we have Elliot Auerbach at 7:30. Supposed to be calling in. Mary Rose Warholic at 8:00. Lisa Berger joined by Tommy Keegan at 8:30. So I mentioned to Lisa, and she was happy to hear that Tommy was going to come on and talk maybe about craft brew business and what's happening in that world, despite COVID, because people are still drinking craft beer at home.
On a daily basis.
On a daily basis.
I have to say I'm not doing dry January.
No, not so much.
Trying to limit it, but
yeah. My other son Lucas is in the he works for Southern Wine and Spirits, so he's in the liquor distribution business and wine distribution business, and he's been busy because he sells to liquor stores.
Right.
He's got JK's as a client and Fitz's, and there's like Empire.
I think that the liquor stores are doing well.
Typically, I think so.
Jared is a friend of mine from JK's, and he just says they're really busy. Yeah,
Jared Cross, good guy, really good guy. And I mean, like New Year's Eve, everybody is pretty much plastered on their, I shouldn't say plastered, but maybe you did get plastered. Sitting on your couch. That was kind of like lame, I have to say. J-Lo, we watched. J-Lo did a good job, I thought, just entertaining, but enough of Alex Rodriguez.
Oh, right.
I mean, enough already. And Reg, you watch? Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty lame. And then there's 4 people in essential workers.
How many people were in Times Square? Was there a lot? Nothing?
Like 50.
Oh, really?
That was very
No, but
limited.
they were cordoned off. They were separated. I think they were hospital workers. I thought that's what they said, and they interviewed them, and they're there clapping, 2 people, like a husband and wife. Oh my God! I guess it's better than they could have put cardboard figures, right? They could have put
could, like in the stadium.
500.
Oh yeah, they should have did that. Yeah, that would have been a good idea.
That would have been pretty funny, actually. But all right, Lawrence, you want to go to break, and hopefully Elliot Auerbach will be calling us.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
100 years ago, there were 100,000 tigers in the wild. Today, there are as few as 3,200. The Earth's wild animals can't speak up when they need help, but we can. Be the voice for those who have no voice. Visit worldwildlife.org.
The Home Energy Assistance Program can help make winter a little warmer this season, with financial grants to eligible households to help pay heating or utility bills. Are you in need of assistance or know someone who is? Find out more about the benefits and eligibility requirements of the HEAP program by contacting your County Department of Social Services or by visiting the Assistance Program section of Central Hudson's website, centralhudson.com.
Hi, I'm Steve Thomas for Habitat for Humanity Restore. Habitat Restores are nonprofit home improvement stores and donation centers that sell new and gently used furniture, building materials, and appliances to the public at a fraction of the retail cost. The Ulster County Restore at 406 Route 28 in Kingston needs your donations. Call our hotline at 845-853-7499 to schedule your free pickup. And thanks.
Long ago, you wouldn't think of galloping on a horse while doing calligraphy, and you wouldn't have attempted to ride your bike while typing a letter. Yet you think you can safely operate a multi-ton vehicle while texting? Behind the wheel is no place to multitask. If you want to BRB, drive now and text later. Lives depend on it.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Ruth Quick from Town of Ulster. I support Kingston Community Radio, and you should too.
This portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by Ulster Savings Bank. Visit their newest branch, conveniently located at the Ulster Commons Plaza in Lake Katrine. Experience the difference that local community banking offers with the convenience of another great location, easy access, plenty of parking, and a 24-hour ATM. Ulster Savings Bank, invested in community, invested in you. Member FDIC.
All right, folks, welcome back. Kingston Community Radio, Thunder Thursday. This is TNT. Tony Marmo.
And Tony Rozier.
And we're glad to have you listening to us on 92.5 FM or 920 AM or going on our website, mykcr.org, mykcr.org.
It's right on the wall.
And, there it is. Yeah, right. Only been doing this for 20 years. How the hell can I forget? Oh, yeah. Okay, he's on.
Morning, Elliot.
Good morning.
Good morning. What's going on there? I missed that excitement.
Yeah, well, I was having a senior moment, which happens more and more to me these days.
Well, it's just an indication, Tony, that your mind is full.
Yes, yes.
It has nothing to do with that. You know,
you
just have so much going on.
Yeah.
You can't find those words.
Yeah, the sweet spot. I need to purge a little of what's going on. How are you, my friend?
Good. So, I was thinking of your show this morning, and I don't know if you have coined a new name for the show.
Okay, what
are you representing yourselves as now that you're no longer crashing Zoom?
we're at kind of TNT, like Tony right? Tony and Tony.
I like it.
TNT, a little thunder, a little dynamite, right? Right? Not bad.
I was thinking, I think you should be T3, and the T3 stands for Two Tonys on Thursday.
I was thinking T squared.
T squared. You could, you can
T3,
go T to the fourth power. Thunder, Thursday, Tony. Yeah, I don't know. We got a lot of possibilities. We need our marketing guru, who is you, to come up with a little slogan for us. But
Lawrence has the budget. He could go out and hire a New York City marketing firm. An Ulster County marketing firm.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Huge budget. I don't know what it is. Probably a couple million. Listen, so happy. We think happy, or in some cases maybe unhappy.
2021.
2021.
Correct.
First and foremost, a healthy one to your family and you. And
thank you.
Because without that, none of this craziness can happen anyway. So, right? I mean,
it's true.
Exactly.
It's a crazy time, whether you're, but health first always. And so I don't know. Give us your take on. I mean, is it even possible to wrap your arms around what's going on?
Well, I will say this to you, and I think I'm reflecting what much of the country is feeling this morning. I think we've all woken up exhausted. We're ready to move on, and we're ready to see the country lift the spirits of the nation and our leadership, and on a local level, on a national level. So I think exhausted is the word for today.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. You can take COVID and put on top the other.
I know. We were talking
stuff
about that earlier. It's just ready to get this black cloud over the country out of here.
The optimists, pretty much I try to keep things simple, despite the fact that I have a lot going on in this little pea-sized head of mine. There's optimists and pessimists. And maybe a little group in the middle. There's super optimists, super pessimists, right? And then the group in the middle that are, I don't know. Today I'm an optimist, tomorrow I'm a pessimist. But the optimists are saying, hey, we can get through this, right? We can figure out a way. We're U.S., America, where we can figure out a way. We should have a big tent. We should have everybody together. Let's have a civil discourse. The pessimists are saying it's the end of the world as we know it.
Right.
Right, Elliot.
Right. And I agree with your first premise. I think we look at it optimistically. Yesterday the country was literally forced to come together, and I think that was a great takeaway to watch both sides of the aisle, especially last night at the electoral college hearings, stand up for the most part and say, yes, we can disagree, but there is this civil discourse that comes along with disagreement. And I go back, I think I've told you this story before, I go back to the day of being at a breakfast and listening to Rich Matthews stand up and talk about the heated discussion that was taking place on the floor of the legislature between him and a young Democrat, and how they went at each other over the course of some law or some issue. But at the end of the day, they left and went across the street and sat down together and shared a beverage. So those that's where we need to come back to.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
We can certainly have disagreements. We can certainly see the world through a different set of lenses. But I think somebody said it best today. At the end of the day, we need to walk out there and realize that we're all Americans.
Yeah.
And not lose sight of that.
Yeah.
So,
I like the reference to getting back to the Constitution and just getting back to basics.
Right.
That's just really what has to happen. And I don't know. We're the greatest nation on earth, and it was like, we talked about it like a Netflix movie, for God's sakes. I mean, it was horrifying to watch some of those.
Just the
scenes.
picture on the front of the Freeman.
I know, scaling the wall. It's like, oh my gosh. So let's talk about what's happening. Despite all this chaos and unrest that's going on, there's still the financial underpinnings of what's going on. COVID and post-COVID and.
Yeah. Well. I would like to say post-pandemic, but we're still in the middle of it. And what we're doing, quite honestly, are watching the hundreds of local governments adjust and struggle with some of the changes that have been forced upon them by this crisis. And
right.
to their credit, they have been very adept, very innovative. We're just finishing up a report right now specific to the Hudson Valley and specific to one Ulster County community that will be included in the report to see how the elected officials and the boards in each one of these communities have responded. And I was quite taken with the fact that, I'm not telling any tales out of school, that there's been some brilliant innovation on the part of our local elected officials.
That's great.
Yeah, and to their credit, we've heard this doom and gloom when it comes to providing municipal services because of a shrinking tax base or
right.
sales tax being but quite honestly, Tony, the town, the village, and the city that we looked at in the Hudson Valley, and I don't want to let out who they are, but it should be out within the next week, have all done some remarkable and innovative moves to stem off some of the potential disaster that we all talked about early on.
Oh, that's good. And and Tony Rozier is here. Obviously, she is largely responsible for running the county's transportation system. So, that falls squarely in that category.
Right, exactly. We actually received quite a bit of CARES Act money when this started happening. So that actually helped the county not to have to pay our payroll. Of course, at some point, we're all paying for those federal dollars.
Yeah, right.
But
eventually,
but we did receive over $5 million in CARES Act money, and that actually got our department through 2020, and will also help through 2021.
And there's a perfect example of it, Tony. And I sense that that is the story that we are hearing all throughout the state of New York. And again, using the resources that you have in this additional pot of money, so to speak, is then the lifeline to keep things running. Your transportation network is so important and so valuable to the people of Ulster County. And, having recognized the importance of it, without that, it would have really brought the Ulster County economy, no pun intended, to a screeching halt. And that's why those kind of innovative moves, not just in Ulster County but throughout the state, has been things that we really want to highlight in our regional reports.
Yeah, Elliot, and as someone who's dealt in, not-for-profit finances for a large part of my career, if some of these municipalities are using fund balance to balance the budget, maybe that's a good short-term fix, correct? But long-term, that's going to be a problem, right?
Well, again, it depends on how healthy the fund balance is. We always say that if you were healthy pre-pandemic, you're going to be healthy through the pandemic.
Right.
So it really depends on a municipality by municipality experience. But I will say this to you, the comptroller early on recognized that a number of communities are sitting with reserve funds that were earmarked for certain projects.
Yeah.
And he was smart enough and forward-thinking enough to bring legislation forward to allow communities to borrow from themselves.
More flexibility.
Those reserve funds. They have to be paid back, but to borrow from themselves to keep things going.
Yeah, that's important, especially at a time where, folks were losing their jobs and possibly their houses, because of the tax burden and whatever. It is encouraging to see that municipalities have and school districts, and I presume, have kind of, and I'll use, one of the favorite words of 2020, pivoted. Right.
Right. Yes. It's a good word. It's probably going to be a 2021 word.
Yeah, probably.
So.
Right, but if you keep pivoting too many times, you wind up back to where you started.
Right. You do a complete 360.
Right. Exactly. I just.
But
go ahead.
Imagine the essential services that each community provides. And I go back to Tony and the transportation network.
This is Tony Tony with an I.
Think about police services. Think about fire services.
Oh,
think about municipal garbage. All these things. I mean, these are things that we depend on and take for granted. Quite honestly, on a daily basis, and we need to sustain those as well as provide the other services that people expect. So
it's challenging.
Kudos to the elected officials. Kudos to County Executive Pat Ryan. I follow Pat. I'm in awe of what he has done, how he has taken command of the situation in Ulster County, and how he has ensured not just he and the county, but those 20 towns and the 3 villages and the 1 city that make up the county are all moving in a forward direction. So that's to his credit.
You know, I just got to ask this theoretical question or rhetorical question. If Pat Ryan could, see the future, would he have run?
I know, right? I think he would have.
I mean,
I think that's in his DNA. I think Pat is a leader. We know Pat is a leader. We know he steps up. We know he takes command, and we know he moves forward. And, that's a question that we often ask some of the elected officials. Some of them say, well, I didn't sign up for this.
Yeah, right.
But others take this, and what we would expect them doing is use this to catapult their communities forward.
Seize the moment.
So,
no, we're blessed.
A lot of innovation, and we're seeing the same thing with our school districts as well. Part of my responsibility is the oversight of 700 school districts across through New York State. So we're watching the innovation coming out of schools, and I know that it's been frustrating for parents and for teachers and for the community at large. But for the most part, we've seen districts do some remarkable. Let's go back to your word, remarkable pivoting. Right during the pandemic. So kudos to them as well.
I want to just take a quick opportunity to plug the Kingstonian, because I think that's a critical project for a number of reasons. And we're talking about generating new tax dollars. And yes, there's a payment in lieu of taxes. The key word in that little acronym pilot is payment. It's not like file it, like free.
Right.
It's pilot. It's a payment. So, our Kingston School District, and I don't expect you to, say anything about this. I'll just make a statement that our Kingston School Board is, I think, misguided on this one, and so we're missing out on, if it goes down, I hopefully it's going to pass. The IDA will pass it. $2.7 million of taxes additional taxes going to be generated. School district recipient of some of that. Otherwise, it's zero. And so we look for opportunities like this one that's right before us to generate some new energy, excitement, tax dollars, and there's one right in front of us. So
Tony, IDAs are misunderstood. I think, if I were to fault IDAs for anything, they're not great at public relations. They're not great at telling their story. You talked about the pilot, the payment in lieu of taxes. A lot of folks don't understand that. If you don't live in that world, that's a foreign language.
Right. They think it's a freebie, right?
I think the first thing that people need to do is become educated as to the advantages and the values of the industrial development agencies, the local development corporations that we see throughout New York State. And again, that's part of my responsibility as well. We have oversight of LDCs and IDAs, and I encourage people to go to our website and read some of the reports and some of the successes of IDAs. Are there bad actors throughout the state, that are IDAs? Absolutely. And that's why we go out and take a very close look and examine the IDAs. There's also another agency that has oversight called the ABO, the Authority's Budget Office, that oversees IDA. So there's a close examination of what's happening and how I'll call it the return on investment takes place throughout these communities. So people need to understand that. I certainly, do not want to take a position on this, and try and
I get it.
30,000 foot view. But I did sit on the local Ulster County IDA board for a few years and saw from the inside looking out some of the successes that IDA projects brought to the county. So again, we need to catch our breath, take a close look at it, and see really what's going to work.
Yeah, and the D, I just want to remind people, the D stands for development.
Correct.
No. Responsible, you can put RD, but responsible development. So, I mean, yeah, it's what, again, we're in a spot in our time in history, Ulster County, state-wise, nationally, internationally, where everything is just tumult. I mean, there's just craziness everywhere you look, and we have to look carefully and closely at these opportunities. This is a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned, and I know a lot of people feel that way. There's some people that don't feel that way, but again, civil discourse, know the facts. What's your website, Elliot, so people can go and take a look?
So I mean, if you just Google Office of the State Comptroller, and you'll be able to get through to, we completed a Performance of Industrial Development Agencies in New York State report, something that we released probably right before the end of the year. And it truly gives an overview. We looked at 109 different IDAs in the state of New York.
Wow.
We examined over 4,000 projects, and we looked at the value of the total projects for the state, which was about $106 billion with a B dollars.
Wow.
And those projects, and this is what really excites me about IDAs, those projects created 179,000 jobs.
Yeah.
So again, look at the job creation, look at the median salaries that these jobs create, and in this case, I think the median salaries were around $40,000 a year. I mean, look at the take a look at the tax exemptions. Don't get me wrong.
No. Right.
Take a look at the pilots. Take a look at the payment in lieu of taxes as well. So I encourage people to read the report. It'll give you a peek behind the curtain, so to speak, of IDAs. It'll allow you to look at where they've been the most effective, whether it's in the manufacturing industry, in the transportation industry, in the construction industry. It shows its impact across the board and how IDAs have really changed the landscape of many communities and how beneficial they have been.
Yeah, thank you for that. That's important for people to be more aware and become knowledgeable on topics and not, again, make it emotional. Look at the facts, right?
Absolutely. So again, much like we're seeing across New York State with local governments, and there are good actors and there are bad actors.
Right.
The same thing holds true for IDA. So.
Right.
That's that story, Tony, and some of the other things that we're seeing over the course of the last few months is we just issued an ethics report. Well, I should say an ethics report. There was 20 individual ethics reports looking across New York State, highlighting counties, towns, villages, and cities to see how they perform their due diligence when it comes to ethics oversight.
Mm-hmm.
This has been another issue that has risen to the top over the course of the last year or 2 years that I've been at the Comptroller's office, is the fact that, what are the disclosures? What do local governments need to tell the public? How transparent can our local governments be or should be? And what about those people who serve in local government? And so,
right.
The Comptroller really came out strong to ensure that ethics across the state are being looked at, and the oversight. Look, I was amazed to see the different approaches to ethics oversight that local governments have. We found we found that compliance was an issue in many of these municipalities. Disclosure was an issue, and I don't think anybody was really trying to do it. I always say, was it criminal or criminal stupidity?
Right.
I don't think that that there was a criminal intent, but we're saying the controller has said, you know what? Be more transparent. Let your local constituent base know who you are.
Yeah.
What disclose what you have. So that was a really interesting group of work that was just completed and just released and on our website as well.
Interesting, man. Boy, you do a lot. I'm like, holy cannoli. The Office.
I will say this: I've worked with 300 of the greatest people that I've ever met, and I say that very sincerely. I am amazed at the talent and the skill and the dedication of the folks that I work with. And again, talk about pivoting. Much like every other government, these 300 folks have pivoted back to telecommute. They're working most of them out of their homes now. So it's quite refreshing to see government in action.
Right.
And again, I credit it to the tone at the top. I mean, it's the controller who he is, and
that's good.
Controller DiNapoli has really embraced the fact that he's the people's watchdog, and and he's lived up to that.
So one of the goals for 21 is to get our New York State Comptroller on KCR. That's on your.
I think we can do that.
That's on your list.
That's one more thing for you to do, Elliot.
Right. I sometimes I refer to myself as the scheduler in chief.
Great.
And virtually, I will tell you quite honestly, the controller has been, not just virtually but physically, he's been all over the place.
Yeah.
And technology has allowed us to do so many things so quickly. I joked yesterday. I was in yesterday morning I was in Buffalo. I think at 10 o'clock. I was on Long Island at 11:30. I was in Newburgh at 2:30, and I was home for dinner by 5. But I hadn't left my house. I mean, that's
Germany, right?
Yeah, right.
Now, so
yeah, well, that'd be great. Plus, he's got vowels in his name, which means he's from either Napoli means he's from Naples or of Naples, which is perfect for us. We're all Southern Italians around here. I was wondering if you want to grab a snow shovel. Lawrence and I are going to go up and shovel out Bel Air Mountain's
oh my gosh,
landslide or avalanche.
Was that amazing?
It was. It went right into the lodge and then down the stairs to the cafeteria.
Scary, man. Right?
Oh, my God. Thank God nobody was hurt.
No one was there. It was Christmas Day, so the whole place was closed.
They bounced back pretty quickly.
I mean, so that was from a lot of rain, a snowpack, a lot of rain, and just like
and 22 inches of snow.
Yeah. And the whole thing just let loose, pretty much.
In 2020.
Holy cannoli, man. It looked.
When else would it happen, right?
Yeah. I thought that was a Netflix movie.
Right, I mean, exactly.
2-3 feet of snow sitting in the lodge. It's like,
well, we've seen some crazy things happen, and we're looking at it and we're saying, I think we're in amazement. What we've seen happen in Bel Air, what's happened in the country. I mean, it's just, we step back and say, you can't make this up.
No.
You really can't. And it's fascinating in one sense, and it's mind-boggling,
a little scary, a little everything, but again, we go back to the optimist point of view here and say, you know what, we will get through this, we'll survive, we'll be stronger, we'll be smarter, and be prepared for just about anything, right, coming. I think the locusts are coming next, though. What do you think?
There has to be something else, but there will be a lot to write in the history books from here on in.
Right.
Well, let me just say this to you guys as we wrap up. The one thing that I remain extremely grateful for is an opportunity to have a community radio station to really hear you guys on a Thursday morning talk about issues that really impact us locally, but also nationally. And it wouldn't have happened if there wasn't a KCR, if there wasn't a Walter Maxwell or a Maxwell family keeping the lights on, so to speak. So we're very, very fortunate in that respect. We're also very fortunate, Tony with an eye, I'll tell you that too, that I can hop on a bus and be anywhere in Ulster County. I mean, that, we take that for granted. And I've been a bus rider. I purposely got on the bus to see how it worked when I became the controller and to understand the transportation network and appreciate the fact when I see the buses in operation, how that's become an integral part of Ulster County. So I'm grateful for that too. So we need to be grateful and take away the things that really have impacted us in a positive way.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Elliot.
Well said.
Appreciate that.
Thank you, Elliot. And
say
hi to
Judy.
Judy. And
Lawrence, if you're still awake, thank you. Or he may have stepped out for.
No, he's there.
I was just out there. I couldn't be asleep yet. I was just talking 3 minutes ago.
He has narcolepsy. He just fell asleep.
Take a quick nap.
So wait.
Anyway,
Elliot, quick question.
Again, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for the opportunity to be here. I want to thank you on behalf of Controller DiNapoli, who's really been the light at the end of my tunnel. And I think all of the light for New York. So with that, I will look forward to talking to you next month, and we'll go from there.
Okay, atomic skis for you?
Atomic skis for me, yes. And
Rosignol for me.
Real quickly.
Brand new ones, actually.
How crazy has the ski industry become now that you have to book yourself a pass way ahead of time?
We're going to Killington in March, and we had to. Me, Cameron, and a few. My 5 of us are going up there. We had to book it last month to make sure we got in right after President's Weekend.
Yeah, crazy,
and we had to get our name on a list, and they're only allowed. It's going to be great skiing with no one on the mountain, but.
All right, Elliot, be safe, be well.
Okay.
Happy, healthy 21.
Thank you. Thanks again, and have a good morning.
All right, God bless.
Thank you.
Go to break.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
Someone in your town, at your school, or where you work is suffering from Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. They're dealing with excruciating pain and days when they can't even get out of bed. Chances are someone you know has Crohn's or colitis. Someone like me. I'm Amy Brenneman, and I'm asking you to support the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America to help millions of us cope and to find cures. Visit ccfa.org today to learn more. Help someone you know get back to their lives at ccfa.org.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and practice an escape plan for you and your loved ones. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
Have you ever experienced a wish come true? For a child battling a critical illness, a wish come true can be a turning point. One song, one dance, one game, one adventure, one moment changes everything. Make-A-Wish needs your support to grant the wish of every eligible child. Visit wish.org now to help grant more life-changing wishes. Together, we can transform lives, one wish at a time.
Hi, this is Winnie from the Rosendale Seniors, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
This programming is brought to you by the Friends of Kevin Cahill. As a strong advocate of local broadcasting, Assemblymember Cahill urges you to support Kingston Community Radio with your time and donations. Your contributions keep KCR vital and on the air at FM 92.5, AM 920, and on the web at mykcr.org. Please join Assemblymember Cahill and send your gifts of $10, $25, or more to Kingston Community Radio, Post Office Box 4364, Kingston, New York 12402. Together, Let's keep KCR alive.
All right, we're back on the air, folks. This is Thunder Thursday, Kingston Community Radio. You're listening to 92.5 FM and 920 AM or mykcr.org, and just click the YouTube and you can watch us, see us live. We're all in costumes today. No, we're not. This is Tony Marmo
and Tony Rozier,
and we're joined this half hour by Mary Rose Warholic.
Nice to be here this morning. Happy
Ulster
New Year.
Savings
Happy
Bank,
New Year.
one of
Happy
our-
New Year.
One of our great underwriters. Thank you so much for that.
Very happy to be here and happy to do that for you guys.
Yeah,
really
we're so appreciative not only of your support for KCR, but also the Happy Christmas Fund, which I think was very successful this year, and all your other initiatives in the community just to help not-for-profits. And it's been a tough year. No. And not-for-profits, have been really hit hard in terms of their ability to fundraise and gather and get people, although they all seem to find me for raffle tickets, so
it's the same circle, right?
Yeah. And so, tell us about the program that Ulster Savings Bank put together this year to help some of the community organizations.
Awesome, great. Happy to. Actually, this is our 6th annual year for Mid-Hudson Heroes. We started it 5 years ago, and typically what happens is with our donations, we have a committee at the bank. So the committee reviews applications and makes decisions. With Mid-Hudson Heroes, we thought this was an opportunity to have the community make that choice.
Nice.
So it's really great. And what we do, we did something a little bit different this year. We typically give away $10,000, which is what we did. But in addition to that this year, we had a special surprise. So what we did was we also offered anyone that came in to open up a checking account the opportunity to choose one of the organizations, and the bank would make an additional $50 donation to that organization. So the way it works is we have four winners for a total of $10,000. And we have 4 categories. So this way, everybody has an opportunity.
Is that like best dressed or no?
Something like that. Something like that.
Okay. Most creative.
Mask. Actually, we had to change it up a little bit because you know how everyone loves their animals, right?
Yeah.
So for many years, what was happening is the animal category always won.
Oh, geez.
So
okay.
We decided to split it up, and we have 4 categories. So we have our first category is education. We have arts, history, and culture. We have animal welfare.
Okay, there you go.
Right?
Yeah,
Had to keep
in
them
there.
in there. And then health, housing, and human services.
Oh, nice.
So,
great idea.
Yeah, it's really great. And, each of the organizations that won received $2,500.
Wow, that's great.
Which is really good. And with that, again, in addition to that, we did the $20,000, up to $20,000 that we would donate. So we'll get some stats on that. But realistically, a lot, as you mentioned, Tony, tough year this year. But nonprofits typically don't have a very large marketing budget. So this is a great way for organizations to really market themselves because of the process that we work through. The first process is the nomination process. So any organization that is a 501c3 in Ulster, Dutchess, or Orange, the areas that we cover, can participate. They get nominated, and then there's a period of time for nominations. We have approximately over 450 nonprofit organizations that are nominated.
When does this start? When did the process start?
We've had it in a couple different times throughout the year. We had first started it in the spring, and then we kind of changed it to the Veteran Days. And then with this year, we thought it would be a really good time to do it around the holidays. So we kind of change it up a little bit from time to time. Okay. But it really is great for those organizations. And then once that nomination period is over, that lasts about a week. And then after the nomination period, then the voting process begins. So anyone, and it's all tied through Facebook, so you do need a Facebook account in order to vote, but you are allowed to vote for the organization every 24 hours. Okay. So, again, from a marketing aspect, get out to your constituents, get the message out there, and have them vote every single day. This year we had just shy of 15,000 votes.
Wow.
So, thinking about that with all the number of organizations,
Yeah.
it really is, astonishing. And people love their organizations and they're passionate about it. So they constantly will, get in there and they're like, they're waiting every 24 hours, getting out there and voting and so forth. So it really is a good way to
How long was the
get out
voting
there.
period?
The voting period is about a week and a half. It
Okay.
depends on, timing and things of that nature. We put posts out there. We have
Right.
links on our website. Mid-Hudson Heroes has their own webpage as well. So you can go to www.midhudsonheroes.com and you'll see all that information as well. Or you can go to our website, www.ulstersavings.com as well, and hear all about it and see all the winners and so forth of that nature. The other thing what it does is it also gives us the opportunity to learn about new nonprofits or organizations that are, in our backyard that we don't know about as
Right.
well. So
Okay, so with great anticipation.
do we want to know who the winners
Well,
are?
unless you have more background information.
No.
We want to know who the winners are.
So,
Right.
okay, ready? Yep. So, the first winner in the Health, Housing, and Human Service category was the Ascenzo Family Foundation. They're a foundation in Lake Katrine.
Oh, wow.
Oh, nice.
And they support poverty. They provide educational opportunities to the underserved.
Wow.
And
Who
they
knew they even existed?
Exactly.
not
See?
even know that.
That's the point.
A lot
with
of
this.
vowels in that name. by the way.
Absolutely, right? Really, really
There you go.
good.
Start writing them down.
Yes. They support senior citizens as well. Now, the next category was our animal welfare category. And once again, and this organization has won several years, Pets Alive. They have a very, very strong participation in outreach. And they're a no-kill animal rescue organization. And what they do is they improve the lives of companion animals. So it's really,
Where are
really
they
cool.
located?
They are in Orange County.
Orange County, okay.
And then the next winner in our arts, history, and culture category was Rosendale Theater, which was really,
wow.
really
Very
Right,
good.
right,
really, really
right, right.
They definitely do a lot for the community and enhancing, many things through their film and performances and so forth. So it was really great to see them win in that category. And then in the education category, the Hobie Youth Leadership Organization won, which inspires local young individuals to make a difference throughout the community as a whole. So it was really, really good. And to that point, when we look at the winners, and ironically, it typically happens year over year, we do have a winner in each of the counties, which always works out very, very well.
That's
so
great.
It's really a great way to outreach to the nonprofits and to support them. So when you hear about it, support your local nonprofit, nominate
nice,
them,
yeah.
and get everybody to vote for them, which is really, really awesome as a whole.
So there were let's see, how many nominated, roughly?
We had 450.
450 nominated.
Right,
I think I
right.
voted for the Ulster County Italian American
I
Foundation.
did, right?
Once or twice.
Yeah. And
Right.
what we did this year, we had a very, very special surprise in addition to. We also recognized the second place finishers as well.
Great.
So each one of those organizations received $2,000. And
wow.
so that went to Family of Woodstock,
Oh, great.
Mid-Hudson Animal Aid, the Center for Performing Arts at Rhinebeck, and Awareness, Inc. So we're really happy about that.
very
and
nice,
it's a
yeah.
nice little surprise.
No, I knew 3 out of 4 of those. What's the last one? Awareness Inc.
Awareness
I'm not
Inc.
aware of
You're
Awareness.
not aware of Awareness Inc.
No.
That is an organization in Dutchess County.
Okay. What are they aware of? Okay. Well,
So I really want to congratulate all of the winners. So
Yes,
yeah, he's
yeah.
gonna look it up.
Yeah, I'm
He's
gonna
gonna look it up.
Yeah.
Just want to say
And and through that, with with Ulster Savings Bank, we are the oldest community bank in Ulster County.
It's like 1861. No, what is it?
1851.
Oh,
yeah, 170.
One digit off.
Wow. Right. Yes, 170 years this year. So, look for more surprises from the bank as a whole. We've got a lot of different things planned to support our community, which is what we do as a whole.
So, these Awareness Inc. is involved in substance abuse education, right? So, awareness, substance abuse education, non-punitive, non-judgmental educational programs to keep adolescents informed about the dangers of substance abuse. I think that's good for them, and glad that they got some money and some awareness about.
Absolutely.
Because we're talking about them. Right?
Absolutely, yes, for sure.
So, And by the way, and one of the things I always mention to Bill, and you as well, if an additional benefit is maybe next year, if you want to bring in, hopefully the pandemic will be done, but the next time you do this, bring a winner or two into the studio.
That'd be awesome. That would be really,
give
really
an
great.
Opportunity to talk about their program, and it kind of expands their.
I love that idea.
Market
I'm sure
reach
Bill would as well.
So
bring it back to him. Definitely.
But we can't have a super spreader event, but we can we can bring folks into the studio and give them a little more highlight, right?
Absolutely, which is really awesome.
So there's other stuff going on at Ulster Savings Bank. I can't believe it. You guys are
we're always
busy beavers.
Yeah, definitely doing lots of different things.
What's the latest?
The latest one that I think a lot of the business community could certainly possibly benefit from is the business break webinar is back, which is a partnership between RBT CPAs and Ulster Savings Bank. So basically what they do is they co-host a weekly seminar for businesses. Towards businesses. And they really provide information regarding obviously the ever-changing environment, requirements related to PPP, the forgiveness side of it.
Paycheck Protection
Yes,
Program.
Absolutely.
Not to be confused with personal protective equipment.
Correct, right?
PPE.
Yes. And a lot of, COVID-related topics and so forth of that nature. So it's really, really good. We have expert panelists that are actually hosting it as well. It's on a Zoom call. And we have Mike Turturro, who is the managing partner from RBT CPAs.
He's the T in RBT.
He is, right? We have David I can't even pronounce this. DiGenova, CPA. He is a partner at RBT CPAs. And then
some candidates for the
Yes,
Italian
we do,
American.
right? Let's bring them in.
The wheels are always turning.
For sure.
The wheels are moving. Go ahead.
And then we have our very own Steve Drobish, who is a first vice president of commercial lending.
At Ulster Savings.
Okay,
great.
Very, very knowledgeable. And, they really provide a wealth of information for the business community. And you can tune in on Wednesdays. You go right to the website of RBT, which is www.rbtcpas.com. And then right on their homepage, there's a green button that says Join Webinar. Oh, cool. And then once you join that webinar, you're hooked directly to the actual Zoom call, which is really awesome.
Freebie.
And in addition to that, all the sessions are recorded.
Oh, good.
So if you can't make one, you can certainly listen.
That's a great value.
That's nice.
That's great value.
Absolutely. And they have a tremendous amount of documents that are out there that you can download that are, really dig into a lot of things that are helpful for the business community.
And again, these are geared towards small, medium, larger business.
Absolutely, definitely. It really fits, the community, I think, in a lot of ways when you look at, the number of businesses and so forth of that nature. So, any small businesses to, mid-cap, so certainly can benefit from some of the information.
I think that's a great program because then if you have, obviously the webinar is a one-way communication, But if you have questions or how does this specifically affect my business, follow a phone call
Right.
maybe, or
Absolutely.
right? How do I get more information about
Definitely,
this?
they do a
So-
little Q&A, and
Yeah.
depending on time, all the information, they can go right to the website or contact any one of the individuals.
Because I do think it's confusing for a lot of these businesses, especially small businesses where they don't have lawyers
Mom
and they
and pop.
don't, right.
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 And these are individuals that have the expertise to provide them guidance and so forth of that nature as a whole, which is really great.
Yeah, no, that's a great program. So give the website one more time.
It
please.
is www.rbtcpas.com.
Great. And that's good. That's a great program. And you started, you had it, then stopped it, and then
Right,
bring it
yeah,
back.
exactly. It had started and then it had went away for a little bit, but, if you go to the website, it'll always tell you what the topic is and when that webinar is. It's typically every Wednesday at 8:30.
Great.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
And RBT is they're great. They're located in I want to say Montgomery, but that could be wrong. Out in that by Stewart
Yeah,
in that
Newburgh area.
They're clients of ours of Norman
Yes,
Staffing. They're
yeah,
great people.
They're really
and,
great, yep.
So it's two really blue chip companies coming together to provide
Definitely.
information
Absolutely.
to businesses. Congratulations for that. And I know you have more additional information that you're going to share about the lobbies. What's happening with the lobbies?
Yes, the
lobbies
lobbies.
are closed,
the
the lobbies are open, the lobbies are closed, the lobbies
Drive-throughs are
Drive-throughs
open,
Right,
drive-throughs are closed.
So, drive-throughs are open.
All right.
Definitely
Woo!
drive-throughs are
Okay,
open.
drive-through,
Use
that-
those, use
that-
them.
that we
Right,
know,
right,
that we
yeah,
know.
yeah,
That's no
yeah.
news.
Definitely, right?
That's no news.
Yeah, so as of Monday, January 11th, customers will no longer need to make appointments when they come into our branch lobbies. We had a period of time where they were required to set up an appointment.
Right.
But however, we felt that, by opening up the doors, it'll give us an opportunity to really have conversations with our customers.
Yeah.
Naturally, we'll, continue to practice social distancing.
Right, you have the
and all
plexi
the
barriers.
protocols. Absolutely, we have
Gotta
the
wear a mask.
Will you limit the number of people coming into the building?
We will. We will. We have social distancing stickers in all of
Okay.
the branch lobbies. So this way, customers are directed to the available spaces. There may be times if we do have all of those spaces taken that someone may need to wait a little bit, or possibly if it's a transaction that can be done in another manner.
And it's not
such
true
as-
that you have to go through a saran wrap.
Not yet. Not yet.
Get the person saraned, and then you cut a little hole and say, I have a problem that I need to talk to you about.
Right. Yeah. Definitely.
That would be a good, interesting trick.
Halloween costume.
Good Halloween costume, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. But
So that's good.
Yeah, we will definitely be practicing social distancing, and we have all of the, equipment for all the employees, as you mentioned, the plexiglass barriers,
Right.
and the face coverings, and all of the.
Any temp taking, or probably not? No temp, no, yeah, okay. So
Not
that's
at present, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been, we've seen a lot of customers utilizing our drive up, utilizing our ATM services to make
Right.
deposits, and also mobile check deposit. We made a lot of changes during this process to make it easier for our customers. You can now deposit a mobile check through your phone up to $10,000, which
Oh,
is,
that's great.
it makes it easier for customers so they don't need
more
to.
remote.
Absolutely.
almost like shopping at Target, put the online one.
Drive up services,
Did you do
right?
that?
Yeah.
I was just telling him about that. That's amazing.
We have, yeah.
$100 out, can you just have it at the front door for me?
Right. Well, we had our drive up mortgage closings as well.
Yeah.
Right.
And now with the weather being what it is, we have a little section off inside the building as well. So still practicing social distancing,
Yeah, no,
obviously,
that's
with
that's
that and so
important.
forth.
I
But
definitely think that's important. Yeah, so it's amazing how banks, our local banks, have just kind of made changes and adapted to the customers. I mean, it's banking. It's a little. We talked about hairdressing and we talked about bartending. Banking,
All the important things.
back in the day, right? Back in the day, was a very personal experience.
absolutely.
Right? I mean, you made banking relationships, and
Yeah, it's
you brought
about-
in your
sure.
passbook, and all that stuff. But it was like
I remember taking my old Italian aunts down to the bank, right? They
Exactly.
had to
Big-
go to the bank
was
at
an
the
outing,
same day
right?
every week.
Huge personal experience. I mean,
Uh-huh.
we've kind of gotten away from that in this age of technology and, instant karma on the phone. And,
Right. I hear you.
But I think kudos to Bill and the organization for saying, you know what, we can do this, we can pull this off, and we can do it safely.
Absolutely.
And that's, that's one of my little pet peeves with our government. I'll pull, Scott Harrington here. Not as deliberate.
Scott.
Not as crazy. We do miss
He's
Scott.
probably on the
and his
boat by
rants.
now. What do you think?
Oh, he's
Right.
probably
He's-
fishing.
Right.
It's
He's gotta
probably
be.
75 degrees where he's
Yeah.
at.
And
He's
building up
laughing
his
right now.
rants. He's got
Is he
a list of
listening to
rants.
us?
No, I don't know, but no, that government doesn't give businesses enough credit, in my opinion, for being smart enough, intelligent, creative to comply with the rules and regulations, still have customer contact, do it in a safe manner. All of the above. And you know what? If you don't do it right and break the law and have a problem, then you drop the hammer. I mean, that's
Right,
just the way it's supposed to be. But don't say, hey, you're not smart enough to figure this out. We're just
And-
going to shut you down. I
Not
get it.
only do
but-
they figure it out, it costs you
Oh, gosh.
a lot of dollars
Yeah,
to
comply.
to comply with all the
Absolutely.
CDC regulations. I know
Absolutely.
in at UCAT, we've had to change a lot of things, although we received some federal CARES Act money to make all the changes, put up the plastic barriers,
Yeah.
have cleaning done on our buses every single day. But small businesses, how do they survive? And,
It's a huge expense.
Hats off to
Absolutely.
the bank for providing all of those changes also. So
Earlier, we were talking about, I have some Rotary friends up in Ontario, in the outskirts of Toronto, like, I don't know, 70, 80 miles. And they are just I just spoke to her yesterday, completely shut down. Completely. Nothing is open. Zero. In Canada. So, I mean, we're kind of been critical of what's been going on in this country for a number of reasons. But not only are they shut down, but we were on another Zoom call with some friends in British Columbia and Calgary area, and they have neighbors ratting out neighbors. They basically because
believe that.
there's fines. And there's rewards for if you rat out somebody. If you rat out, like, there's 10 or 15 or 20 people
Oh, my
in
goodness.
the neighbor's house, you call the Canadian Mounties or whatever the hell they are.
They are the Canadian Mounties. That's right.
They show up.
I'm marching
They shut
in.
you
They're
down.
taking you
Thank you
down
very much,
on the
Mr.
move.
Marmo, for ratting out your friends. And by the friends get
Wow.
fined. You get a little present for ratting them.
Wow.
So, that's
Unbelievable.
Canada.
how long
God
have
bless.
they
Wow.
been shut down?
They just got shut down recently.
Do they know how long it's?
She's thinking. What did she say? And until the end of January, no restaurants,
I
zero.
honestly thought for sure that's what was going to happen in New York between Christmas,
Yeah.
between Thanksgiving and Christmas. I thought for sure that we would get shut down at either that time or right after Christmas. But
Yeah, so
thank goodness we didn't.
I know, for
I mean,
sure.
yeah. So there are governments that are taking a
Extremes.
different extreme measures, and in Europe it's the same thing. There's some of them, like Scotland, I think, just shut down the entire country. Now Scotland is about the size of Rhode Island, but, but then they just throw logs around for fun. But yeah, I mean, so again, kudos to Ulster Savings Bank. Look, you don't survive. What is it, 142 years?
70.
170.
170. Oh, yeah.
170.
You said that earlier.
Special year. Special year.
170.
We got surprises for
Right.
you,
It's a
Tony.
decade. Cool. No, that's cool. I'm sorry I didn't
That's okay.
exactly
No
hear
problem.
that.
No problem at all. No problem at all.
You don't survive that long without knowing how to adapt
Absolutely.
and change. And
Yeah, you have to stay relevant, right?
Right,
Because
exactly.
especially in the financial industry, it's been ever changing, especially over the past probably 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
So you do have to adapt and go with the times and make things convenient for customers.
Yeah,
That's
you do.
where for us, I mean, I think that's one of the biggest things is it has to be convenient and it's at the customer's choice,
I
coming
think
in.
before COVID, I didn't mind being inconvenienced to go to the store or do anything. Now, everything's gotten so easy. I feel inconvenienced if I have to stand in a line longer than
Right,
5
right.
minutes where you can just drive up. So I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but making it more convenient is a great thing
Absolutely.
for people.
And choices, I mean, they have choices if they want to go into the branch. They have choices to do things online. And with all of the additional, and, you talk about the phone, we have a mobile wallet. So you don't even need your card when you go to the store to purchase. All you need is your phone.
Right.
And now with all the, sanitizing equipment for phones, right? But with the mobile wallet, that's all you need. It's a tap and go.
Right.
So you do want to make it easy.
It reminds me, though, that we have become so dependent on these things. And I'm
Got something going?
notorious for losing either this or these.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So one of
you
my
got a
staff
tile.
members gave me a tile, which is really cool. So I'm always losing my phone somewhere, or
Your keys.
or my keys somewhere. I leave them in the office. Where the hell are my keys?
Right.
So if I lose
Must
both
be
of
an
them,
Italian
I'm
thing.
screwed.
Yeah, not at the same time because your tile's gone.
This can beep that, and that can beep this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
so
didn't realize
yeah,
that.
I always
tiles.
just keep one
Well,
on
that's
your
kind of
person.
like my watch.
Yeah,
My watch
well-
will beat my phone.
Yeah. So
And
that's
I don't have
that's-
anything to beat my keys.
Yeah, well, you got to get a tile then.
Yeah,
they're,
for
they're,
sure.
They're cheap enough, and so yeah, I've lost my keys on many
So
occasions.
it's come in handy.
Oh, it's come in handy, definitely come in handy. So yeah, that's good. So any other news? Everything going good in your world?
Yeah, everything's going good.
Family good.
Family's good. Absolutely, yeah.
Good.
Things are really good, and we've been fortunate, with limited employees having exposures
Yeah.
and things of that nature. So,
Yeah.
and the bank has done taken a lot of precautionary measures, as you mentioned, the cleaning. We
Right.
do deep cleaning in the branches.
Saran wrap.
Absolutely, everything gets cleaned, all high-touch areas. And, we have sanitizing stations throughout all of the branches.
I hear that you were
locations.
using your cafeteria for.
We're using our cafeteria for mortgage closings.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
That
we
was it.
when
Yeah.
it became a little bit too cold
It did.
outside, right? Yeah, and so we have sections blocked
So
off
now no one can gather in the cafeteria, which is
Blocked
another
off.
plus
Good.
plus.
Yep. And you have a
Everything is
place.
blocked off.
Right, because
Yep.
people tend to do that at
They do.
lunchtime, even if you bring your lunch.
Right.
Absolutely.
You don't have to do a closing in 15-degree weather, hanging out your window.
Right,
But that's it. I mean,
right.
it was a cool thing with the tent and all that stuff.
Yeah, definitely. People
so-
really appreciated it because they didn't want to, go
Yeah.
into the building at that time.
Right.
Well, Mary Rose Warholic, thank you for Castronovo. Thank you for coming.
I love it. You
Thank you.
pronounce it perfect, Tony. You pronounce it perfect.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me,
And,
and-
all the best to Ulster Savings
Thank you.
in year 170. And give our best to Bill, and thank you for all you do and for the community and your customers and the businesses and just, you're, as I said, blue chip corporate citizen. And thanks for
Thank
your
you.
support of KCR.
You're welcome, and
All
we
right.
appreciate everything that you do, Tony.
Thanks.
And
Thanks
have a
so
great
much.
2021.
You too,
Very
everyone.
healthy one. Lawrence, please.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
On top of first-class care, you will never receive a bill. The only thing we had to worry about was just keeping Azalea comfortable. St. Jude saved her life.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Hi, this is Tony Marmo from Norman Staffing, and if you've made a New Year's resolution to find a new job, we are uniquely qualified to help make that happen for you. We've been here since 1980, finding people the right job in the right place. We have several opportunities that will make your New Year's resolution come true. Administrative assistants, direct care staff, certified nursing assistants, and bookkeepers. Call to make an appointment and meet with a placement specialist. The service is personal and free. It's a new year. Why not a new job? Call 338-9111 or normanstaffing.com.
We are Lions. We bring hope where it's needed. We are a global force for good. Support causes that matter. Change lives. Change communities. Change the world. We can do more together than we can alone. Join in. Experience the joy of serving. Be part of the movement. Give back. Let's unite the world for good. We are Lions. You can be too. Visit weserve.org.
Everyone is talking about healthcare these days.
America spends twice that of other developed countries on our healthcare system, yet our health ranks near the bottom. How can we stop spending so much and getting so little? By shifting to a system that gives more patients access to strong primary care. Primary care can help make America healthy again. To learn more about the benefits of primary care, visit www.healthisprimary.org. This message is brought to you by America's Family Physicians.
Hi, my name is Jackie Lovezzo. I'm from Lake Katrine, and I support Kingston Community Radio because it is an invaluable resource to the community and its residents.
This portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by Ulster Savings Bank. Visit their newest branch, conveniently located at the Ulster Commons Plaza in Lake Katrine. Experience the difference that local community banking offers with the convenience of another great location, easy access, plenty of parking, and a 24-hour ATM. Ulster Savings Bank, invested in community, invested in you. Member FDIC.
All right, we're back on the air, folks. This is Thunder Thursday. Tony Marmo.
Tony Rozier.
TNT, and you're listening to
Happy
Kingston.
2021.
Yeah, this is our first show of 21. Very cool beans. So I think we're joined by two of our guests. Okay, on the phone rather. We call them phonies now.
Tommy got the voicemail
They're
twice.
phonies. Lisa Berger, how are you?
I'm great this morning. How are you guys?
We're doing great.
Morning, Lisa.
Good
morning, Tony.
Yes, so it's nice to hear your voice on the phone. We'd rather see your face in person, but we appreciate you calling in. All is good with you?
Yeah, things are actually fantastic. I heard you speaking with Elliot this morning.
Yeah.
And you did a little tiny bit on Bel Air. I just want to let your listeners know that I've talked to them, and so they got everything cleaned up within 48 hours and got reopened.
Wow.
The challenge right now, of course, is that the weather has to hold for them to continue making snow, and if they can continue to make snow at the rate that they're making snow, conditions look good. They'll be able to open up more of the mountain, which will open up more tickets.
Right.
So, it's been a hard year for skiing already. I'm sure you guys saw that Hunter had to shut down because of they don't have enough staff because of COVID.
Now, Lisa, is a portion of the lodge open? Or is the whole lodge closed?
No, the Overlook Lodge is not open. So, that's a limiting factor.
That's the upper lodge.
That's the upper lodge, yeah.
Right, that is the upper lodge.
Yeah.
So, but they're hopeful to be able to get more people, out on the slopes, and they've been encouraging people to bring their picnics and sit in the lodge. Let's throw it back old style. Let's all think of the 1950s and 60s. I used to ski at High Mount, which is the backside of Bel Air.
Right.
My dad was a ski instructor there, and so there's this nostalgia factor for me. It was a little bit rougher there. So I think we can go experience skiing, but like you were saying, you need to book those tickets.
Online and in advance. Lisa, I think we're joined now by Tom Keegan from Keegan Ailes. Welcome and good morning, Tom.
Good morning, guys. How you doing?
We're doing fantastic.
Morning, Tommy.
We're talking skiing, and usually, well, at least when I skied, after a long day of skiing, I always enjoyed a nice glass of beer.
Me too. That's why you ski.
That was the only reason my family could trick me to go up and ski in the cold, is I could sit in the lodge and watch them ski.
Right.
Not this year, though.
Yeah. We're just getting a quick update from Lisa, and then we're going to get to you and talk about what's happening, in your world, and obviously during this lovely pandemic that we're all experiencing. But we definitely want to hear, your view of the world in terms of what's happening. So, Lisa, Bel Air Mountain is open or not open?
It is open,
okay.
And so the tickets are limited right now. There's no availability this weekend or next weekend for people on their online ticketing system. But as we move through the end of January, there is weekend availability, which I know is what most people are worried about, and there's plenty of midweek availability.
Okay,
so
that's
to
good.
Elliot's point, you'll have the mountain absolutely.
Yeah, and Lawrence, Lawrence, I think mentioned that too. You're skiing by yourself pretty much, which midweek there always kind of sort of was. You had most of the city people would come up. Same thing with Hunter Mountain. Same thing with Wyndham. The metropolitan folks that just learned to ski 2 seconds ago. Which is why you don't want to go there on the weekends. But I guess but if you're a skier and a local, take a half a day off and get your runs in, and then come back to work. But
and to your point, then enjoy some nice craft beer.
Yes.
Right here in Kingston, which is, we were going to do a big promotion on Kingston being an après-ski center this year, but with COVID being the way it is, the restaurants that we were working with really had alarm about whether or not they'd be able to serve people. So with that, I'm going to toss to Tommy and let him talk to us about how everything's going in the beer and brew world.
Right. Before though, Tom, I just want to say you were one of the early pioneers in terms of craft beer in this area. I don't know. You're going to tell folks how long you've been doing this, and we won't age you at all. It's a matter of respect that you've been doing it, and you were really at the party first, and then it just seemed like the whole craft beer world took off like, holy crap, there's 1 million craft beers now. But
all over New York.
Yeah. Go ahead, big guy. Thank you for joining us too. Thank you, Tommy.
Yeah, I'm here. It's funny. I actually have a meeting next week. I sit on the board for ORDA, which is the Olympic Regional Development Authority, and they control all the finances for the ski slopes that are state-owned. And this is a big concern of ours. Is people wait all season for it to snow and the tourists to come up, and now we finally got some good weather for making snow, and we can't have people come up there. It's crazy. And that, of course, trickles down to my business in several ways. One of which is the beer that I usually sell at the mountains.
Right.
I personally drink beer pretty much the same all year round, but
right.
I sell a lot more beer in the summertime, and I use I look forward to the mountain sales, and not just the actual the ski slopes, but the restaurants surrounding there, to kind of offset that winter low. And the other thing is, like Lisa was saying, is during the wintertime, especially on the weekends, this place looks almost like a ski slope. Everybody's walking around with ski pants on because they stopped in Kingston on their way back down the mountain, and there's none of that this year either.
Yeah.
It's a little crazy. We've decided to close our pub with production's still cranking away. But just for a couple of weeks, kind of catch our breath, maybe do some skiing ourselves.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So you've been doing this. When did you start Keegan Ales?
Oh, yeah, I didn't answer that question.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
Next January 14th is officially Keegan Ales' anniversary. We'll be 18 next week.
18. Wow, that's a long time. And everybody thought you were probably a little cuckoo doing this, right? Like, why go up against the big national brands? Right?
I went to every bank in Kingston, and only one would give me a mortgage at any rate. They were like,
right. What are you, crazy? You ever hear of Budweiser?
I remember when we very first started, the Daily Freeman interviewed us. I don't know if you know Jesse Smith, the reporter over there at the time. And I told him we were just going to open this tasting room, and then, we'll be doing the production during the week, and on Thursdays and Fridays and Saturdays, we're just going to open up and give out free beer. And people could come buy beer to go, but I didn't have an on-premise license. And he looked at me like I was at he said, you could not give away free beer in Midtown Kingston. You don't know this town.
What are you, crazy?
There's going to be trouble, man. Burn down Kingston again.
Right, exactly.
I said, don't worry about it. We have it under control. And obviously our customers have been supportive ever since, so that's good.
Now, you've been in the same location since the get-go, for 18 years.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, right here on St. James Street. Right.
Yeah. I mean, did you ever think the industry would just blossom and just go crazy like it has? Did you ever think that 18 years ago, or what'd you think?
I don't know. I guess I kind of hoped it would a little bit, and then it's kind of the pendulum, I think, has swung a little bit further than I expected it to. But yeah, I mean, I spent about 10 years out on the West Coast in San Francisco, and that's where I really got my passion and where I got my brewing education. My bachelor's and my master's are out on the West Coast. And that was already kind of happening out there. So I saw the trends starting, but it wasn't anything like it is now.
Yeah. Well, one of the smartest things you did was hire Tony Rozier as your bartender, or one of the bartenders.
Yeah. Oh, my God, that's so true. She served a lot of roles at Keegan Ales. You know, she kind of ran the bar for a while as well. But she's the best, and she's been part of our family for, I don't know, how long have you been working there now, Tony?
I think this is my 11th year working there. So, yeah, since
that's a long time.
Since you and Tom Wolf stalked me at Riccardi's.
We did. I'll admit it.
You know, the other...
it's been Keegan Ales, Tommy did say our Keegan Ales family, and I have to say that he has made it a Keegan Ales family, and everybody there is one big happy family, and sometimes not always happy, but even I have to say that people that have worked there and left still come back, and Keegan Ales is still their place and still their family, and that's how we think of everybody there.
People that have gotten fired still come back.
Yeah, they do.
Thank God sometimes.
They're like, does that mean I don't get to come to the Christmas party?
yeah, correct.
They're like, no, you can still come to the Christmas party. You still work here.
Right. So, continue the ski center beer connection because I've been to a couple of the Tap New York events. I think at Hunter Mountain, correct?
Hunter Mountain, yeah.
And, Hunter, right?
And Lisa Berger, those events are amazing in terms of drawing people in. I mean, there was zillions of people, a few years ago when we went, and again, to the point of, if you had a Tap New York 18 years ago, it'd be Tom Keegan and maybe some other guy or gal. But
Tap New York is actually 20 years old, and so they did have it that many years ago. And,
wow!
They started it at the Culinary Institute.
Right.
I forgot.
And they outgrew that space, or at least the space that the CIA was willing to give them, and moved it up to Hunter. And I think the first one had 8 breweries at it. That was before my time a little bit, but
wow, yeah. Now there's 80.
And it's strictly New York State breweries.
Yeah.
And we still can't hold all the breweries at Tap New York.
Yeah.
Want to come.
I mean, do you have an estimate about how many microbrews there are in New York now? There's got to be thousands, right?
The beers themselves, how many breweries? I think there's almost 200 breweries in New York State.
That's it?
Right
okay.
Now.
I mean, I thought there was more. I mean, I think here we have now 2 or 3, right? 2 in Ulster County? Or 3? I don't know.
2. We got 3 in Kingston alone.
3 in Kingston alone.
Right.
Ulster County's probably got 10. We're one of the most... There was just an article a couple of months ago. I was reading one of the trade rags. I think the Hudson Valley itself had 50.
Yeah, that's amazing. And Lisa,
and there was only one. There was no breweries between New York City and Albany when I opened up.
Wow.
So I was able to play the local card, all the way into Orange County pretty much, as I was the local guy. Now I'm not even a local guy in my own town.
You're still king of the mountain, Tommy. You're still king of the mountain. You got there 18 years ago, and that means something. And but Lisa, from a tourist standpoint, how do you connect the two? And economic development, which was one of your other hats.
Yeah, it's you know what, this is a huge driver for visitation and definitely an activity that people engage in when they come up here. So the group that's called Hudson Valley Tourism, which is the 10 counties that border the Hudson River between New York City and Albany, have they have a craft beverage map, and this is one of the most requested pieces that this group does every year.
Wow.
And so it lists every craft, every place where craft beverages of any kind are made. So it includes spirits, it includes breweries, it includes our wineries. And, it's so interesting to hear Tommy talk because, when that map began, I'm going to say 7 years ago when we began doing it, the group actually included places that served craft beer, locally made beer, but didn't maybe make it. And it's exploded to such an extent that all of that has come off of the map. And now really all it is places where it's made and have tasting rooms for people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really gotten big. It's important to Ulster County's visitation. And I was just going to ask Tommy a quick question because he's so interesting. Have you seen? What have you seen as far as people's tastes? Has anything about what you do changed?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm personally a little bit lucky that I was in the game early enough that I was able to develop a loyal fan base. But the one thing that I've seen change is that as the market grows and the consumer becomes more informed, they always want something different. And in turn, the bar owner now has to supply something different. So I'll go into a bar that I've been doing business with, whatever, forever, and they're like, "Man, that Mother's Milk you sold us, we never got more compliments, never made more money faster with it, blah blah blah." And I say, "Great, I'll get you another keg tomorrow." And they say, "No, we did that one. What's next?"
Next?
Wow.
What's new?
So
Yeah.
It kind of puts the pressure on the brewer to always be innovating, which is kind of interesting in its own right, but it's also very costly. It's not that costly as far as just doing beer on tap, but when you start putting it in packages, if I go buy, I got to go get artists to make a 6-pack label and a bottle label, and I got to go buy, pallets of just cardboard sitting around for something that might not stick. It's a gamble every time. So that's the only thing that I've seen really change, and that's the biggest thing, at least, I've seen change.
I can compare it a little bit, I think, to vodka. And so vodka, you used to get Stoli. Was it just plain Stoli, right?
Right.
Now there's every flavor of Stoli or vodka under the sun.
And now Tito's and Kettle.
Right,
and
but no, so I'm saying flavored vodka as opposed to, in terms of flavored beer, right? Tommy, in terms of, give me a beer. No, it's a pumpkin spice beer. No, it's a this, it's a that. It's a rose flowered. What's that?
It used to just be beer.
Exactly. Right. Now it's like
it was a lot easier to go to work.
50 shades of beer.
And you
good
go
movie.
To a bar, like Mariners or whatever, and you would know that on this tap handle that was always this beer on that tap handle. And on the flip side, I got to say I kind of enjoy it as a consumer. It frustrates me as a brewer, but
right.
I enjoy going into bars and seeing what's new. What do they have that I haven't tried yet?
Yeah,
so I can understand both sides of that coin.
Yeah.
I mean, the other thing I always think about is pilsners, lagers, and IPAs. To me, the younger kids, and I could be wrong about this, the millennials and ish are the IPA crew. I'm a lager pilsner guy, but I don't know. Is there any science to that, Tom, or not? Tommy?
Oh, I agree with you. That's the way the trends are.
Yeah.
That's another. Well, I guess I don't know if you've realized, but the price of beer has gone up ridiculously in some of these boutique breweries.
Yes.
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 Yes. $20 for a 4-pack of beer. Like, what are you kidding me?
I could buy 4 6-packs of Schmitz for that.
Or a Budweiser, a full tank of gas, and a pack of smoke.
Jenny Cream Ale. Come on.
I have to say, a lot of the younger kids.
College, Tony.
Hey, Tommy, what's your favorite beer?
So
does he have it?
The price has gone up, but those IPAs are really expensive to make.
Yeah. Well, it is obviously it is science, and it's a whole business perspective, and it's. I mean, it's, and Lisa, you can attest to this. Employed a lot of people in the county, and I mean, we're all trying to figure out how to get through 2 months.
Hey, and I think to Tommy's point there about like the different ages and what attracts them differently to different kind of beers, in a way that it also has to do with like the visitor that comes here, right? So they go to his place. They, have one of his signature type beers, right? And it connects them to this place that they visited, because that's what we always remember. We always remember the food and beverage. I mean, that's what we remember when we go on a trip.
Right.
And so a place like Keegan Ale is, is a really important, visitation attraction here, and it anchors people to the experience they had here, and it brings them back. So we can't underestimate the importance of this industry to the to the hospitality economy overall, and Ulster County's economy overall.
Yeah. Tony, you were going to ask?
Well, Tom, I have a couple of things to add. Also, at Keegan Ales, I feel like all of the beers have special names, right? And everything means something, and Tommy can probably attest to that. But we also wanted to ask you, Tommy, what's your favorite beer?
That's a trick question.
That is a trick question. I could name like 2 or 3 like top favorites. I've always been a fan of the Guinness family.
Oh, interesting.
Partially, Guinness I like because Arthur Guinness really invested heavily in the science of brewing. And being a scientist myself, I have a lot of respect for that. And that's one of the reasons I named my flagship brand Mother's Milk, because that's a pet name for Guinness in Ireland.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah, I figured that. What about
and
Hurricane
also,
Kitty?
Guinness, people don't realize Guinness is brewed at the St. James Gate Brewing Company. And coincidentally, my brewery is on St. James.
Oh, that's a little tricky one. My guess about Hurricane Kitty is that maybe it was a relative of yours, like a crazy aunt that you had named Kitty. No.
Very close, yeah. My grandmother.
Oh, okay.
It was Kitty and Hurricane Kitty. And in the 60s, she got so many speeding tickets racing to the Long Island ferries. And my grandfather was an attorney, so he knew all the local cops, so they knew who she was.
Oh, that's great.
And the police gave her the nickname Hurricane Kitty. Oh,
that's good.
60s, and it stuck, and, it just became... My dad owns a brewery down on Long Island, and we started brewing that recipe down there. And then when I came here, we brought it up here, and we call it Hurricane Nana around the
Hurricane Nana
Thanksgiving table. Yeah.
Where in Long Island did your dad brew?
Definitely one of my favorites. My dad's brewery is in Patchogue.
In Patchogue, okay. Yeah, my son lives in outside of Huntington, but
he loves brewing as much as I do.
Yeah, there's a ton of breweries down there now. Ton. Greenport, Long Island, a big.
I've never been down there.
Yeah, it's a ton.
Yeah.
So you're trying to get through the next few months. You're closed until when? You're thinking?
I'm thinking. With the ski season is part of my equation. I'm closed right now. I mean, the production guys are here today. We're working now, but we're closing the pub for at least 2 weeks. And then I'm thinking around Martin Luther King. We'll see what happens.
Start up again.
Weekend. It's a big ski weekend, and maybe we'll just open for the weekends for a couple of weeks, and then get back to business as usual after that.
I'll tell you the other piece of this and one of our other co-hosts on the Thunder Thursday show is Guy Greco, who's played in a lot of live bands. He's
the guy plays here all the time.
Yeah, amazing, and he is just absolutely dying in the sense that he can't play in front of people.
Yeah.
And so
Every musician, I hear the same story.
Right,
yeah.
Lisa. I mean, that's another attraction. Potential tourist for us attraction is the live music.
Yep, it certainly is, and definitely working musicians have really had a very, very hard time during this downturn. It's just been brutal. There are no weddings. Their weddings are 50 people. There are no big events that they are booked to play in. Think about even the fairs and festivals that usually Ulster County has, or the kind of places like Keegan Ales that brings in somebody who has a passion for music and this entertains the people while they're there, and it's been really hard. But it's good to hear, Tom, that you're thinking that you'll be open weekends after you do this little January pause, and
I don't think anybody has crystal ball. I didn't mean to cut you off. Just it depends on how the world starts turning in a 2 week. Allegedly we'll have a new president if they don't burn the town down. And who knows what's going on with COVID? So it's going to be a moving target for us, and I just have to get up in the morning and take a look at the New York Times and see what to do.
Right.
But you're right that the musicians are a big part of the draw to. Not just Keegan Ales, but in general. We were lucky that we had a big parking lot where all summer. We were
that was great.
Have people outside.
Yep. That was.
We were one of the few people that I think our occupancy actually increased from normal time.
Yeah.
And we were able to set up an outdoor stage, and we had musicians clamoring because we were one of the only places to play all summer.
Mm-hmm.
Even Tony Levin, for those of you who don't know who Tony Levin is, he's a very famous bass player. He plays for Peter Gabriel now, and he's got a Grammy on his own, and he lives down the street from us. And this guy plays like Madison Square Garden for 5 nights in a row, and I had him on a playing on pallets in my parking lot.
That's awesome.
Just
There you
because
go.
he's a friend, and he said, "Man, I haven't been able to play in front of anybody forever." I was like, "You can come play here, dude." He's like, "All right."
All right, we have a minute left.
So, like everybody this guy's pretty no joke. Like when the Beatles broke up, he became John Lennon's bass player. He's been that cool for that long, and
Tommy, we have, and Lisa,
standing around doing this is kind of hysterical in a way.
we have about a minute to go. We're going to have to get off.
Yeah.
But Tommy, tell people where they can buy Keegan Ales, like locally in terms, not if the pub's closed, where can they buy it?
Yeah, right. You can buy it pretty much at all of the supermarkets and stuff in town. Hannaford's, you can get it at Quick Check, you can get it at Stewart's, you can get it at all the beverage centers like Beer World, Beer Universe in town.
Great.
Any place that's got beer to go, most of them have our beer in the county at least.
Great. Well, thank you for coming on today, and good luck
Hey, thanks for having me.
going forward. Lisa, thank you for being on. Any final words from us? You get the last words in the show.
No, just everybody, stay safe and healthy, and looking forward to being with everyone again next month.
Yeah, and hopefully by then we'll be a little bit better off, and a step closer to normalcy by next month. I know that's the optimist in me.
Hey, we're all optimistic.
Yeah, thanks so much to
guys.
both of you. Thanks to our listeners. Thanks to our underwriters. Thanks to everybody for just being good, and go out there and love each other, and let's ban the haters and go for the love.
Well said.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing the morning with us, and